This year we celebrate the 70th birthday of the German Basic Law, which came into force on the 24th of May 1949, but only in the American, British and French zones, which formed the Federal Republic of Germany. The Soviet zone was the German Democratic Republic, which wasn't democratic, but it had its own constitution. And the Basic Law is a constitution. It's not called a constitution, but that is still what it is. There's no law anywhere saying that a constitution must be called the Constitution, and this one happens to be called the Basic Law for the Federal Republic of Germany. Even so, its name is a bit of a legal fudge. Back in 1949, the Parliamentary Council, which was the body responsible for drafting the new constitution, was of the opinion that for certain legal purposes, the new Federal Republic of Germany was actually a continuation of the German Empire. And this posed a bit of a problem because it meant, under the rules of the German Empire, that the new constitution would have to be accepted by a government that represented all Germans. And with so many of them on the wrong side of the Iron Curtain, that was not going to be possible. So instead, these new constitutional laws were given the title Basic Law, a translation of the Latin phrase Lex Fundamentalis, and everybody pretended that this somehow made it okay. Article 146 states that this basic law remains in force until such a time as the German nation adopts a new constitution. Now that Germany has reunified, this has led to a conspiracy theory, according to which the Basic Law is not valid and Germany has reverted to the pre-war constitution. This idea, of course, is complete. The Basic Law has now been accepted by members of the Bundestag representing all Germans, and that is all that is legally necessary. There was never a requirement for a referendum, and the reason it's still called the Basic Law is quite simply that there was no point in changing the name. It is the German Constitution. The Basic Law was an important step for Germany, which was having to come to terms with the destruction wrought by the Third Reich. It was very important for the Basic Law that it protected the rights of people, which the Nazis had simply ignored, and also it was important that it couldn't simply be bypassed. One of the important steps in the Nazis' power grab was a misuse of an article in the old constitution. Under Article 48, the President was empowered to issue emergency decrees without consent of Parliament. By pressuring Hindenburg to issue such a decree, the Nazis were able to suspend several very important constitutional rights. Unsurprisingly, therefore, this article is nowhere to be found in the Basic Law, and it wasn't until 1968 that government was given the power even to declare a state of emergency. Additionally, the Basic Law includes an eternity clause. Article 79 states that certain articles can never be changed or abolished. This includes the first 20 articles which deal with basic human rights, and all articles governing the relationship between the states and the federal government. In fact, not only can those articles never be changed, but any new constitution that replaces the Basic Law must have those articles in it, including the eternity clause itself. So as long as Germany continues to exist, so must those parts of the Basic Law. The Basic Law was finally agreed on the 8th of May 1949 and was then ratified by all the West German states, except for one. Bavaria actually voted against the Basic Law, complaining that it gave the federal government too much power. However, the Bavarian government also voted that if 2/3 of the state ratified it, then Bavaria would accept it. And so, with just a bit of reluctance on Bavaria's part, the new Basic Law was signed on the 23rd of May and came into effect the following day, 70 years ago. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to send me a postcard, here's the address. And don't forget to visit my website and follow me on Twitter and Facebook. Also, if you'd like access to special bonus content and help with the costs of running this channel, please consider making a small monthly donation on Patreon.